All right, so I just hit the live stream button. So we're just waiting a little bit for the stream to sim, and it says we are live, guys. So welcome back to another episode of Box Mining. It's our Wednesday stream here, so we give you guys an update on what's happening on the cryptocurrency space, what's happening with Bitcoin because it's surging past $50,000 again, approaching that resistance line and just trying to push past that. And once we're past that, oh my God, it's going to be all eyes on crypto and Bitcoin yet again. There's a lot of motion in the background as well. More institutions buy into this. We'll see another 60, not 60, $600 million potential purchase coming up very soon. So we'll do the news update today. Today is also Wednesday, and Wednesday we do more of an innovation zone episode. So we're going to talk about a lot of the developments that's happening in decentralized finance on the cutting edge. You know, the cutting edge is the most volatile space, but it's the same space which can just give insane rewards and insane amounts of just craziness, insanities. And this is where usually I'll hold myself back a lot, but sometimes I feel like for the Wednesday episode, I'm gonna push more towards the innovation front. It is the front that is most profitable for me, I would say. Just giving an overview. So I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, VeChain. That would be my core wallet. Then Engine, Swissborg, Utrust. We got a lot like the Polkadot and everything in the kind of middle bracket. But when you go to the altcoins, right, when lower cap coins, this is when things can very much fluctuate. That altcoin portfolio has just exploded, right? Including portfolio assets like Duck Token, Duck DAO, guys, DLP, DDIM. Then we have like Finxflo. People were asking about that yesterday. So I'm gonna orient this episode more towards the innovation side, and we'll talk a lot about the recent stuff that I've been spending a lot of my time on. A lot of my time dedication has been on researching what is on the cutting edge here, because this is where kind of the lives can be changed at the to say the least, and that's the biggest understatement of the century. So we'll talk about everything here, guys. Leave a comment to what I should check as well. I recently posted a message on Twitter asking people, what are your moonshots, your biggest moonshots, the ones that are gonna really change your life? Yeah, leave that comment on the section below. And with this as well, the innovation warning zone applies. So because we're talking a lot about the innovations that are coming in the space, a lot of the stuff can just completely fail and not work. All of this is pretty much experimental at this current point. So I would just say, not a financial advice, not a financial advisor, and big damage warning. Like, I know that Binance, like this is kind of a copy cat from Binance where they have their innovation zone, and they basically ask you to acknowledge the fact that this is extremely risky. All the risk is on you, and absolutely, that's pretty much the case here. So anyways, we're going to talk about that today. And of course, we're going to celebrate Bitcoin going to $50,000. It's pretty exciting to say the very least. And with that, guys, let's get started. Let me get everything ready, and let me fire the intro out. All right, so we starting off by looking at the markets first of foremost. So we got Bitcoin pushing up yet again. We had a little bit of a dip on Monday, but that's not the end of the world. We have Bitcoin moving to $50,000. Right now, it depends on which exchange you view it at. Obviously, it's $675 on CoinGecko as an aggregate. So what we're seeing right now is Bitcoin meeting some form of resistance here. So you can see that Bitcoin tried for the past few hours to constantly attack, right? All the bulls are they're moving to attack. They're trying to push the price up, but then they got a few setbacks along the way. But this is going to be very huge because yet again, once it pushes past $50,000, this is going to be the all-time high, right? This is where the bears will stage a strong support. They're going to try to fight back. They're going to try to dump There will be people taking profits at this point. Obviously, I mean, if you've been following crypto since last year, I still remember making my videos last year and saying, when Bitcoin was like about $5,000 or $4,500, I'm like, guys, Bitcoin, guys. And now it's like, what, $49,000? It's 10x since last year. So I'm very, very grateful, obviously. But at the same time, obviously, I can definitely see some people taking some profits at this current point. But I'm not too fazed by it. Definitely not too fazed by it. I think even, it was kind of funny. Everyone was like tweeting about Peter Schiff yesterday. Because he made a remark, he's he made a remark kind of acknowledging that Bitcoin it's going to $50,000. It's the biggest bubble of all time. He's going to be the representative for all the bears, for people who think the price are going to go down and go to zero. But the funny story about Peter Schiff, that's the kind of interesting story, is that he's been bashing Bitcoin since forever, right? He recently just posted a comment just now, like 10 hours ago. He says, now that Bitcoin has hit $50,000, I must admit that a move up to $100,000 cannot be ruled out. However, a move down to zero cannot move out either. It will be a temporary move up to 100K is possible. A permanent move down to zero is inevitable. My God, this guy, I just wanted to put that out there because, a lot of people don't realize that he's just trolling, right? He wants the attention. He wants the clicks. He wants people to believe that Bitcoin's going to zero. And the craziest part, right? And this is a true story. This is not even like fake, right? So when Bitcoin was at $10, right? Literally at $10. This is at 2012 when I started mining Bitcoin, right? I didn't know anything about Bitcoin. I this is one of those times when I'm gonna fully admit I didn't know the technology. I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, yeah, you know what? I had a computer. I'm a gamer. I clicked the button. I mined this Bitcoin thing up from the ground. And you guys probably know the story. I'm not gonna tell it infinitely, but that's when I got into it, when I knew about it. But I didn't know about it, if you get what I mean. I mined it, but I didn't really know what it was. So at that time, it was $10. I, read people like Peter Schiff, like he's just saying Bitcoin's going to go to zero. So when Bitcoin moved from $10 to $15, that's when I just said, you know what? Peter Schiff is probably right. It's probably going to go to zero. It's a big bubble. It's the biggest bubble in the world. $15. It's pretty good. I moved from 10 to 15. Not a bad deal, right? 50% in very short space of time. This market looks too volatile. I'm going to get out. Boom, press the sell button, sold everything, right? Like what was I thinking? If I can go back in time and teleport myself, then I will slap myself in the face. Obviously, right? But it's because of stupid idiots like these guys. In that time, I was naive, right? Being the naive person I was like listening to these guys, clicking the button. So this is why I'm making a big deal out of it. I mean, some people don't know this guy's trolling hard, right? Some people don't know this guy. He's been wrong for like a decade, right? If I kept that Bitcoin, right? If I kept that Bitcoin, I could have sold any amount and got my initial capital back easy, right? Going from $15,000 to $50,000, right? I mean, that is life-changing. That would have been life-changing, right? That would have been life-changing if not for the fact that I read Peter Schiff. So anyways, I'm going to bash him like endlessly here. And it's one of those things where, these few years have taught me a lot about conviction and understanding. It's like, you understand, and then you need to be able to hodl. Like there's so many times when you read mainstream media and they try to force you out of a position. And I'm just gonna go rant on this final bit right now. The last thing was about Tesla. Kind of funny, right? So back in 2012, yet again, I didn't really understand this investing space. I'm, very young. As a kid, I just, there's no experience, right? You tend to believe what mainstream media says at that time. So yet again, it was a situation was very interesting in Tesla, moving from not 2012, but moving to 2015, 2016. And then everyone was saying Tesla was overvalued, but I was like, you know what? They're making these really great cars. Let me buy some, right? And I checked my stock trading account today, and you know what? Tesla's up, right? It's up 1,800% since I bought it, right? And when I bought it, I remember people were just flooding the crap out of it. They're like, Tesla's not a car company. They're gonna go bankrupt. It's gonna go to zero. It's absolute trash. Like I'm not gonna be like, you know what? Like, there's no need to be angry at people. I was gonna say, oh, give them the middle finger. There's no need, right? you're already winner. I'm already a winner. I don't care, right? Hindsight 2020, if someone said, Bobcat says. But yeah. So, anyways, moving back to Bitcoin again. Like, let me finish the long rants over. Definitely, I feel like there's a lot of room to grow, and just to link up everything with what's happening here. Microstrategy is to sell another 800 million worth of convertible notes to buy even more Bitcoin. That's what I was saying about Bitcoin, right? The people who bought Bitcoin, they're not selling. Like these guys, they've been Microstrategy, Michael Saylor, he's been endlessly buying Bitcoin, right? It's kind of interesting. I would have assumed that he would probably be like, kind of, he'll be coming waving it in front of people's faces by now, right? Because he's been buying it during that bear dip, all the way throughout 2019, 2020, big funds, big amounts of money moved into Bitcoin. I thought, maybe he'll be chilling a little bit, but no, he's not. He's going all out back again. MicroStrategy, she's selling more convertible notes, basically raising more capital, and then he's going to throw that into Bitcoin. Holy crap. So another 600 million worth of Bitcoin following Elon's $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin that he bought it with Tesla, right? So it's everything ties together. So yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Like, for people who are not exposed to Bitcoin, back in the day we thought, so yet again, I definitely see a lot of potential here to move up, but obviously we're at a high, we're 10x up, right? So I want to state that it's still volatile. We don't know how long this bull market's going to last, but so far it's been superb, right? We survived through that Chinese New Year dump. Remember, there was that fear that Chinese New Year was going to come. There were little dips before Chinese New Year, but what happened here, right? Wall Street's bets came, right? Blew it up. And then a few more days after Chinese New Year, no dump occurred. And this is when the markets are moving up again, right? Chinese New Year is over. People are getting back to work, guys. Go back to work. And everyone's going back to work. They've had the holidays. They talked about Bitcoin. We're probably going to see that phenomenon again, where people go back, talk about crypto, and then they want crypto exposure. That's kind of what's happening right now. In fact, a lot of people are actually asking me, like, the activity on almost every front is increased. People ask me about crypto. I also see boxmining.com. It's getting like super number of views, right? The number of views, I think it's like almost 6x since 3 months ago, right? That's how much interest there is now in cryptocurrencies. But obviously, it's good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, right? But, in this space, you got to be able to manage things properly. This space teaches you very fast. If you don't manage your stuff properly, you're gonna get wrecked pretty soon. If you have the illusions of grandeur, same thing. And this is why every time I'm ecstatic, I try to pull myself back a little bit, right? I'm pretty much elated right now. You can probably tell. Like, I'm super ecstatic, but in terms of my strategic front, I'm pulling myself back, understanding my emotions, and then taking the necessary strategic calls on that front as well. So that's what's happening on Bitcoin front. So Bitcoin's moving. The giant may move very soon because there's so much activity here. Ethereum hasn't moved too much, to be honest. So Ethereum space, it's kind of still in this little cage I drew for it. So we saw the support was coming in at 1,684. We saw the resistance coming at 1,879. So it's kind of in the middle of this zone. So definitely see that Ethereum needs to make some plays, but obviously it depends on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin massive rallies, obviously Ethereum is going to get a lot of attention as well, especially on the front of right now, like Ethereum represents the movement for decentralized finance, right? If you want to see what's pushing Ethereum so much so forward, if you want to compare to both, Bitcoin is decentralized money, but Ethereum is decentralized finance. Well, that's the way it's moving right now, where exchanges can be built on top of Ethereum, like Uniswap, and all of a sudden people can swap without any oversight body, right? Or without any permission, which is very powerful. If you look at the whole thing with Wall Street bets, I think that really gave me the conviction to understand that moving to decentralized trading makes a lot of sense, because with what happened with Wall Street bets, literally the funds, they knew that they can have an unfair game to play. They knew that they were having these overextended positions, and what did they do? They called up Robinhood and literally told them, yo, guess what? Suspend buying GameStop shares. You think that's fiction, but it happens in real life. And yeah, and then they make up a bunch of excuses, right? Like this is how the world works. Like if you read between the lines, you know exactly what's happening. But the power of being on Ethereum and on other smart contract platforms is that they're decentralized. There doesn't need to be a permission. There's no like a body that can just say, look, let's make this game unfair. That's stupid. But anyway, so yeah, so that's what's happening on the markets right now. We also have quite a strong recovery for most of the markets that we see right now. DeFi, like we saw DeFi like last Friday when we saw DeFi and everything, they were taking quite a bit of a hit. But moving in the past 7 days, you can definitely see that the movement is still very positive and more it's more towards the green than not. And I feel like that's where DeFi has taken a slight breather and where I saw the opportunity to enter positions as well. So this is where I don't feel like DeFi is going, decentralized finance is going anywhere. My personal take on it, and that's why, yeah, I'm taking a lot of time to look at it. So initially, obviously, you guys probably know that in Hong Kong here, we're celebrating Chinese New Year. I was going to take a few days off, but it's pretty much abundantly clear that I did not do this, right? This is a time where you need to get on top of the information. This is a time when you need to know everything. Like, I guess like it's hard for a lot of people. Like I did spend a lot of time talking to people over these few weeks, and I'm like, just like, if you ever have time, you got to put that time into crypto, right? Because the stuff that's happening here is just ridiculous. And yeah, if you don't go, you miss out pretty badly, right? So anyways, you know I know it's not the biggest pitch, but guys, spend that time, do your research, go on Clubhouse, go on Reddit, go on everything, get that information, understand what's happening, be on top of that kind of like everything that's happening, understand, like see the whole space, and I think it's gonna be crazy. So yeah, we have wow, Social Capital. Thank you so much for your donation. So Amigo, thank you for everything in your space. I'm sure you're aware of ID 2020. I'm not too sure, by the way. I'll take a look at your suggestions, by the way, for everyone who's suggesting me coins. I'll take a look, but there's no guarantees that I will like I'll have the time to do everything, right? So this is a time when there is definitely information overload. So I definitely want to thank everyone for the donations, but I cannot guarantee that 100% I'll look into it. And typically speaking, what happens is I will take a note of coins that you guys suggest, but I won't feature them immediately on the first kind of episode. The reason for that is because I don't know, I can't validate if this is going to be a complete scam or not or whatnot. So just don't take offense to that. I'll try to do some form of due diligence. And just to add on to that, the amount of due diligence I can do right now is severely limited, right? The amount of research I can do is like, I can do a bit, I can do the rough ones, but the problem right now is because there's so much innovation happening in this space, there's so much room for catastrophe and for mishaps. So, just take that into mind. All right, take that into mind. So yeah, thank you so much for your donation, and that's how it goes. All right, so let's take a look at the news. Let's quickly get through the news. So we got this update: Binance Smart Chain triples in a week. So if you guys been watching, you probably know that I've been pretty much aggressively farming Binance Smart Chain projects. Binance Smart Chain is like Ethereum, the best way, and you can easily move to Binance Smart Chain, right? You click a button and you can move on your MetaMask to Binance Smart Chain. I'll do a tutorial very soon. But anyways, Binance Smart Chain, they're tripling in the number of people, right? They're rising aggressively in popularity. We're seeing that turning point as people realize that Ethereum transactions are very expensive. People are moving to Binance Smart Chain. I'm not going to play favorites here. I feel like this is a position where like Ethereum is the one that most of the developments are on. It's where most of the network effect is there. But Binance Smart Chain is rapidly coming up because of obviously the big Binance supporting that. And also, I definitely want to give some kudos to Binance for creating a chain that uses their own token too. This is a very big contrast from OKCoin, which launched their own kind of Binance Smart Chain killer, but they also didn't use their own native coin for it. They made a second currency. I mean, Come on, guys. Come on, guys. So this is where I think Binance did make the proper play, where their coin, the BNB, is used on the Binance Smart Chain, and you can pull that out, right? So if you're logged onto Binance, you can pretty much pull your BNB out and deposit that into a Binance Smart Chain wallet and use it exactly like you would on Ethereum. So Ethereum is the currency for Ethereum addresses. BNB would be the currency, native currency for gas and transaction costs on the Binance Smart Chain program. Yesterday, obviously, there was like a huge amount. There was almost an overload. Like some people had like problems using MetaMask with Binance Smart Chain. That for me seems to have been resolved, but some people found a way to kind of use a different RPC connection point. This is how much traffic there is going on. Basically, there's more demand than the Binance guys anticipated. That's why their RCP port pretty much got overloaded yesterday. So anyways, that explosion of growth, kind of crazy. We got a question from Pouncing Penguin who says, have you tried the Avalanche DeFi bridge yet? So the way it works is that with how all these coins and all these networks, they're trying to be interoperable right now, right? This is a big keyword. People throwing big words out there. But what it really means is being able to transfer coins from one network to the other. So the way you do it for Binance Smart Chain is you typically go through Binance. You'll go transfer your funds to Binance. And then when you withdraw from Binance, you go and withdraw it onto the Binance Smart Chain. You have an option there. There's another way to do it for Avalanche. So with the Avalanche AVX bridge, I was testing it today, actually. So to answer your question fully on that, I am trying the Avalanche bridge. I'm trying to get more into the Avalanche ecosystem as well. There's something, it's a big thing that I'm like on my list of things to do. Polkadot, Avalanche are kind of the new networks that are coming into play, and they're trying to gain their network effect. So it's a situation where it's much cheaper to do transactions on other blockchains that are more scalable. And the reason being is because they were able to build that scalability. They can either sacrifice, or I'll phrase this differently before I piss people off, but they're either able to sacrifice by bringing the number of nodes, so reduce decentralization, but increase speed and efficiency. So that's one sacrifice. I'll definitely see that Binance Smart Chain took that path where they're less decentralized. I mean, obviously they have Binance in their name, okay? So let's not pretend here. But at the same time, they have a huge amount of, like, huge reduction in the transactions cost, and they have a huge transaction speed boost. There are other blockchains also that have, promise very similar things, and this is where it's going to be very exciting to look at, like Avalanche. We got Elrond, we got Oasis, we Rose, we got, oh my god, there were so many others ones that I'm looking at. Even Injective, they're doing something cool. Solana, it's kind of crazy, but anyways, we'll talk about that soon. But let's go for the news. We got also Diem. So this is Facebook. Oh man, Facebook. So this is a rebranded version of Facebook's currency. It's called Diem. So they're closer to launch Fireblocks and introduce a new payment infrastructure. So yet again, this is merging with traditional DeFi. I actually haven't, let me just check. So I haven't actually looked too much into Diem association recently. This is like the ashes of Facebook's Libra, right? This is like a repackage of the Facebook Libra. You know that they went through regulatory hurdles, but they're moving forward still. It's kind of funny. The whole thing with Diem, I mean, obviously because it's Facebook, it got a lot of attention, but the regulatory issues were definitely not unexpected. I think everyone anticipated regulatory issues of it, and then the fact that they are trying to salvage what they can right now, it's kind of interesting. It's also kind of interesting, right? Because just comment on this as well. China really put Facebook Libra as a competitor to their currency DCEP, right? You can definitely see that in the centralized currency scheme, right? Where, if you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum as decentralized currencies, no one person controls the monetary policy for Bitcoin. And it's kind of, that's kind of the way the decentralized ones work. But then obviously there's going to be centralized versions of this coming up. Say, for example, DCEP, which is the one issued by the Chinese government. They are pretty much pegging a one-to-one to the renminbi and trying to promote that to be used as a digital form of the renminbi. Now, in China, they were actually really putting Facebook Libra as a big competitor, right? Or Diem, as you want to call it. They're putting Diem as a big competitor to DCEP and to the centralized currency game. Now, we don't really know how Diem, how much regulatory approval. I mean, it seems to be the case where Diem has, the network itself is ready, right? Let's be honest. The network, even when it was called Libra, the network itself was ready. It was just the regulatory approval. And when they were called up, remember when Facebook and Libra was called up to the U.S. Senate to explain what they were doing with their Libra currency and the basket of coins, you can see that they were spanked super hard. They were basically saying, we will not do anything unless we get regulatory approval. And it seems to be still the case right now. They have more and more tech, but yet again, they're waiting for regulatory approval to launch. We'll see how it goes this year. It's going to be kind of interesting. Now, other news, we got Russia to introduce a draft law to tax cryptocurrency as property. Surprise, surprise, taxes. Yeah, like it's very clear that a lot of Russians got into crypto. If this wasn't abundantly clear, check my clip on the blockchain cruise. It was packed full of a lot of Russians, Ukrainians. It's very global, right? Chinese, Americans. But that was when I really understood how rich the Russians were. I probably didn't say that during the video, but if you read between the lines, that was it. I didn't want to insult anyone there. But man, a lot of rich Russians are in crypto, and obviously they want the government wants a little bit of that, a little bit of tax on that. So yeah, that's not too unexpected. But that's life, right? That's life. All right. So yeah, we got through the Peter Schiff stuff. We also got this, which I guess it's making news, but anyways. So the BRI report is the guys done by Don Tapscott. You've probably seen Don Tapscott on my channel. He's been pushing crypto very, very hard. In fact, he and his son, Alex Tapscott, wrote a book about the blockchain revolution, right? And he's very connected with pretty much everyone in traditional finance in the OG space. And he's pushing super hard to say, the US needs to focus on blockchain, crypto, and a digital dollar. I think it's pretty clear. I think, like, why do people even need to write this down? Like, it's like this was obvious like 5 years ago, and it's a little bit even more obvious now. But if people wanted to be spelled out in a proper report format, here, this will be for you. This is for you guys. Here's a report to say, hey, this is what you should do. And then if they don't do it, you can be like, hey, here's a report that said you should have done this ages ago. I told you so, and have a big smile on your face. But that's just me being a dick. Sorry, I'm being more of a dick than usual. All right, that's pretty much it for now. I think this was kind of interesting. I saw this as a title, the real flippening, Bitcoin versus silver. Bitcoin is flippening silver in terms of market cap. I found that was kind of amusing. I mean, silver, a lot of people are hyping silver up, but you guys know, gold and silver, they're great for storing value, but they're not the most innovative currencies in the world. Let's just put it that way. Big understatement there. All right. Blinky Beowulf says government equals to legalized mafia, gives mafia a bad name. It's kind of funny, all right? So, I was talking about Russia recently, and something that's kind of interesting, if you watch Johnny Harris, he has a video about the one man Putin fears. This is a recent video I watched about how Russia works and the house of cards that Russia is kind of built on, and how Putin's on the top, and you have billionaires, Russian billionaires, in the middle, the oligarchs. My God, like, I'm not sure how vague I should put it here, but you can definitely sense how rich people were on the blockchain cruise. It was like the way that so just to put it into perspective, right? Like there was a cruise that's a blockchain cruise, right? And they featured a lot of very, very rich Russians, right? And then they're not even these guys, right? They're not even these guys, the billionaires. They're probably even like here to here, where, on a scale, like they're not at the top of the food chain, right? At that time, right? The reason being is because, anyways, but very, very rich people are just crazy. It's next level. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those points in life where you just realize, holy crap, like the only reason why I'm here is because I'm like a house plant. Like they're like, oh, hey, there's some guy called Box Mining. He's on his cruise too. Guys, take a look. It's like I'm a zoo animal, right? And these guys are, oh, hey, cool, cool, cool. I don't know. I don't know if that's an insulting way to put it, but that's what I felt. I'm like, that was the purpose for me to be on that cruise. It's just so, like, I got invited there. I didn't get paid or anything to go on a cruise, but I thought, oh, it's just gonna be fun. It goes around. I want to see what's going on. And then when I got there, I was like, wow, these people are super freaking rich. Like, right. Anyways, yeah, it's crazy. And then Nick Miles says, LOL. Yeah, don't assassinate me, all right? KGB, don't assassinate me. I didn't really. Just joking. But it is true. The rich people control a lot. And it's something that you definitely see in crypto. Like, it's a darker side of crypto, I'll definitely say, where you definitely see how much power rich people have. A lot of things are transparent. We call rich people whales in crypto, right? They can move markets very greatly. But what happens in crypto is just a small kind of... what happens in crypto is very transparent. So everything that happens, you can see on the blockchain, right? So you can scan the data, and we have like analysis of whales, etc. But what's more interesting is that this is very much like a way to scope into real life finance. Like, real traditional finance is what's happening on crypto, but times 100, right? Or 1,000, 1,000,000, right? It's like, there's so much dark stuff happening on Wall Street, and it happens, right? Like you kind of see the kind of like little bits of it, and you can piece together what's happening in reality. Like, for example, I watched a whole video about rogue traders who lose trillions of dollars for their banks, right? You can see how messed up it is. Like, these banks are just arbing each other, fighting it out, taking whatever advantage they have, like in terms of either political advantage or policy-wise advantage, and then just completely trying to destroy each other. It's shark eats shark eats shark in traditional finance, and there was just basically no rules barred, right? And in many ways, like, it's super broken. Like, I don't think any of you need any convincing, but yeah, it's pretty gross. It's pretty darn gross. Anyways, we have a lot of chat right now. Anyways, okay, so we'll do a little bit of chat, and we'll we got Black Film Guild says, you're saying a lot but not saying anything. Spit it out. My God, people just want the dirt on this world, right? It's actually quite like, yeah, it's like, I was kind of like, I met some really rich Chinese too, and it's just like, they're like, oh, you think CZ's rich? You think he made $1 billion? You think he's rich? These guys are not rich. They have no power, right? Real wealth can only be secured by power. I'm like, wow, like, my mind is blown, right? Your wealth means nothing if you don't have power. Like, that, someone said that directly to my face, right? And yeah, read between the lines, right? If you don't have power, you cannot keep your wealth. That's like the number one rule in the 1%, right? It's freaking brutal there. It's freaking brutal. So you get, it's pretty much given, right? Okay, so all right, let's. Ben Miller says, Box Mining mentioned that he will be interviewing Finxflo. Yep. Yep. That was one of the projects I went into recently, hodling that. All right, what's the next gem? Anything on Goose Financer? So let's go. Like, I think this chat is dying to learn about altcoins and everything. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about strategy. We'll go from the easy end and then go to the harder end of everything that's going on. So answering Goose DeFi. So Goose DeFi, I am in it, but I am farming the pools. So the difference here is that Um, okay, I'll be the total douchebag here and say, look, speculating on price is very hard for something like this, right? This Goose DeFi thing, it launched recently. It's still trying to establish its current, its price. It's still, the price discovery process is not complete. But the interesting thing about Goose is that you can start farming it, right? Which is why that's kind of something that I'm doing, which is like I'm depositing something like USDT. If I have spare stables or BNB or ETH, I can deposit in there and get this huge APY. Now, there is obviously one big drawback, which is the 4% deposit fee. So I think this is kind of the genius part of Goose DeFi, where because of that deposit fee, people are more loyal to Goose DeFi, and also they use the deposit fee to buy back the egg, right? So in terms of what's happening in terms of their supply and their burn, just give me 1 second. Let me connect my wallet up to it properly so I see the statistics that's going on here. But what's happening is they're using that 4% deposit fee to buy back those eggs. So there is, okay, let's be frank here. There is Ponzi-nomics, that phrase can be used quite aggressively here. There is Ponzi-nomics going on here, but at the same time, if they can do something interesting with Goose, I think this is where the power can come. But anyways, regardless of what they're doing right now, having a huge return APY is what I'm kind of look for. But obviously the contracts are not audited, so be careful. I don't want to say, don't want to preach the safety here. There are people who are asking me, like, oh, should I mortgage my house? Like, God, stop. Like, be careful. I'm obviously doing this with any spare capital that's just lying around. If it's lying around, I don't mind putting it here for 1 or 2 weeks. Then these numbers make a lot of sense to me, right? Especially if it's 1,000%, that means I'll get my 4% deposit back in 2 days, and then the rest is just game, right? So that's kind of what's happening with Goose DeFi. I am farming it, but yet again, I'm also not speculating heavily on the egg. I'm also avoiding, obviously with these things, with the 2,000%, I'm definitely avoiding that at the same time, because that's beyond my risk threshold. For me, the way I view these farms is that I put whatever I'm not actively using. So capital efficiency, if you want big words here, if I have just spare BNB or whatever, or DOT, like my DOT is here. Right? If you guys are interested in Polkadot, I move my Polkadot here, and then that's where the farm can work. And you can get like roughly, Polkadot's like about 800% on your DOT, right? So it makes somewhat sense to have that rather than not have any. But obviously, it needs to be risk managed. You don't want to put all your coins here, et cetera, do your own research. So that's one of the farms. The way I view farms right now is that I have multiple farms that splits up my risk. So that makes, like, if that makes sense to you guys, it by dividing up I guess I would say capital that's lying around. By dividing that into multiple farms, then I can spread out my risk if there's a catastrophic failure on the other's front. On that side as well, Pancake, I'm still farming. So Pancake.Finance, it's kind of like, you can definitely see that Goose forked Pancake, but Pancake.Finance, they're kind of totally insane. They've been around for a lot longer. They have a lot more access to the Binance projects as well. So a lot of times you can go for the pools and earn different pool tokens with Pancake. Now the strategy to farm Pancake is Pancake Bunny. Yet again, this is not very tested. Sorry, probably wrong website. Pancake Bunny. The strategy here, this is Bao.Finance, obviously. The strategy here is that this is auto compounding, so you can get a little bit more extra. So on this front, if you're going for a nest and you're going for Pancake Nest, sorry, not a nest, sorry, Pancake Swap. So if you're in pools, all right, this is when when I've done too much crypto. I just click buttons every day. It's a pain. But anyway, so if you just go into pools, you get 140% returns on your Pancake, on your cake, and you can compound that. But if you don't want to click the buttons every day, you can go on Bunny, and then this is what I did. You have to deposit your cake here, but it auto compounds it for you, and you earn Bunny on the side as well. Yet again, not audited, but free alpha leak for you guys there. The returns are like way better, and you get Bunny, and Bunny just pumps. So that was pretty much free money. Thank you guys, whoever gave me that. I forgot who it was, but I think it was Peak. Peak, who gave it that tip to me on the Box Money Telegram chat. Like big thank you, because I think I doubled my gains on that. Then also Wing.Finance. So yet again, Wing.Finance. This is something I did a video feature on, and the returns on stables is not bad, right? So the way it works is if you deposit, say, USDC onto here, you have to cross the bridge first. It's all in the video if you guys are interested. The video on Wing.Finance, just check it out. I actually go through the entire process. You have to cross from Ethereum to Ontology, and then you deposit on Wing.Finance. The strategy for Wing actually is to fold it. If you really want super alpha, since we're discussing this on the innovation zone, if you want super alpha, the way I did it was I've deposited USDC, I withdrew SUSD. So you basically have a deposit, and then you withdraw this, and then you save the SUSD on another account, and then you withdraw USDC. So it's like a process of like both depositing and withdrawing, and then depositing whatever you withdrew, if that makes sense. It's called folding. But it blew my mind the first time I obviously I heard about this strategy. But if you can use that, you can min-max your gains. So on my Excel spreadsheet, I was getting around 80% annual percentage rewards on Wing, and Wing also moved up. So, go figure, right? So it's like freaking insane. So those are the farms, like main farms I'm in right now. So that's Goose, Bunny, Wing, PancakeSwap. I'm in funding rates as well. If you guys are interested, I'm in funding rates. The reason, like I said, the reason why I'm in so many is because it kind of spreads out my risk a little bit. Oh, I'm also in Cream. But yeah, anyways. So I'm spreading out my risk a little bit and just earning a little bit of passive income when whatever is sitting there. That's the key, right? Whatever is sitting there, the whole point is to it just makes like 10-20% for you, or even more, like maybe like a few 100% for you over the year. So that way that money can be used elsewhere. And what I've been doing is that whatever I've been harvesting from the farming side, I go and plow that into projects, right? This is like, I'm like, oh, if it's free money, I'm gonna plow it into weird stuff, and that worked out super well too. So I guess, yeah, the whole strategy from where it worked out. I mean, anyways, so yeah, farming is a very big part of what I'm doing right now. It is risky, but at the same time, it's damn rewarding. But I would say, like, if you are interested in farming, definitely go chat about it. There's a lot of unaudited contracts out there, which is mega unsafe, honestly, guys. Just make sure you do your research, make sure you spread out your risks correctly, etc. Oh yeah, Frezor says, are you farming Badger? Of course. Sorry, totally forgot Badger.Finance. Badger.Finance really took off too. Like you have to, like, for me, it was on the curve thing. I put my Bitcoin there. Like I put a portion of my Bitcoin there because, Bitcoin just sitting around doesn't do much, right? So I'll put a portion of my Bitcoin there. It's at 31% right now, so it's not as great as before. So before, when I was in like the curve rent BTC and stuff, it was pretty crazy. But now it's not as crazy anymore. But it's still, it's still viable. It's still viable. If you guys understand that, that would be cool. But yeah, anyways, that's what's happening. So yeah, I'm definitely in curve, not curve. I'm definitely in Badger 2. Francisco says, are you related to Michael Saylor? No, I wish, but yeah. I think that's pretty much it. And also I'm in Bao as well. Bao.Finance. Like, I guess I'm guessing I'm in way more things than I think. The strategy I did it is whenever I farm something, I'll take a screenshot of what I'm farming and take a log journal of it. If that makes sense. Yeah, like if there's an opportunity, I'll say, you know what, I'll do enough research, and then I'll take a screenshot to remember what I'm in. And yeah, Bao.Finance, I'm also in Bao.Finance farming that. It's been pretty crazy. And it's all pretty obvious. It's like kind of funny. Everyone has asked me about Bao and stuff. It's pretty obvious that Sam Bankman-Fried was farming it because he listed Bao on FTX. I was like, okay, I understand now. Everything that you farm, you list on FTX, right? Is that the strategy? Is that the backdoor way to get a listing on FTX, is to let Sam farm you? Magic. James M says, let's go Bao. So Bao has some pretty decent rewards. Like it's one of those situations where I really regret I was a little bit lazy. Like Bao initially had these pools that only had like $200 in it, and then like if you actually went heavy into those pools, like the rewards were insane. Now it's not as like the opportunity is not there anymore. But before, like with these very very rare pools, like you could have just like bought like you could have market bought like say $500 off that coin and then put it into a liquidity pool, and then you'll take up like half the pool and earn your Bao, right? That was the ultimate strategy for Bao, because Bao had so many pools, right? It was just like, okay, if you find one that really doesn't have a lot of money in there, you can take up the entire pool. I mean, if you have any thoughts. Ryan Ron says 95% of Bao is locked though. Well, that's when FTX comes in and it can short it, right? Yeah, like Sam, genius. All right. So, what are my thoughts on everything? But just be careful if you're shorting Bao. I think there's, it will cost you over time if depending on funding, where funding rates go. Like especially if it moves up, then you're gonna get screwed over. So I'm not telling you to short Bao. That's probably unsmart at this current point. Yeah, let me see. Funding rates right now is positive. Longs pace shorts if positive. So yeah, it's okay. Interesting. All right, so always refuel, guys. Always refuel. So looking at the comments, we have Reef Finance. Any thoughts? Dude, Reef is doing super well. Like I entered Reef very, very early, like Reef iron hands on that, like diamond hands, iron hands. I guess iron hands because it wasn't out for a very long time. But like if you actually look at my video with Denko, right? Reef Finance. Check out this video with Denko. It's done super well. Like he knows what he's talking about. Like if we talk about tech, like there were points in this video I was like, you know what, like make the tech easier to understand. Like his brain, he's got so many big brain plays there, right? But yeah, it's like, you know, the amount of kind of the amount of tech that he's understanding and trying to deploy with Reef is just insane. And it's one of those situations where yeah, I'm glad that like this year has been a year where I'm very glad that people who know their stuff finally gets acknowledged for it. I think this is something that, you know, during the bear market, no one gave a crap, right? Even if you're a total genius, you wouldn't get very far during the bear market. I mean, I still remember Hacken. If you guys, it's like Hacken and HAPI, right? So they have a token called HAPI, Hacken token. And it's one of those coins that like they really survived the bear market, you know, like they went through some serious shit, right? And like I have a soft spot in my heart for Hacken, right? And one of the reasons why is because of cybersecurity, and we all need security. And I know how efficient their team works, right? Like every time that there was been a hack, I always hire Hacken for their services. I paid for them to actually shut down fake box mining before, and they were efficient and fast, right? They knew what they were doing, and they're very aggressive with it. And then also, of course, I visited the Hacken team, right? So this is all the way back in 2017. I visited their team, and it's just like, it kind of completely blew away any prejudice I have, right? Because they're based in Ukraine, and like, I'm sorry to be racist here, where I've initially thought, oh, Ukrainians, you know, like they're scary, right? The first thoughts, oh, Ukrainian hackers, they're scary, right? But they are the nicest people. You go there and you're like, oh my God, like I was like brainwashed the wrong way. Like I've been brainwashed my entire life, right? You know, like I guess it's because like all these Hollywood movies, people with an Eastern European accent, you're like, oh my God, they're so scary. But so sorry. All right. But just putting it out there, like they're the nicest people in the world. And I was in Ukraine. I was invited there to check out the hackathon. Man, they were like super skilled. Their team was super amazing. And it was towards the end of the bear market. So it's like they were fighting against the world, right, to get recognition. And finally, like Hacken gets some recognition now, which is just amazing. I think it's just, yet again, it's one of those things where like, you know, finally, like a lot of people were afraid too. Like they were talking about some of the issues that they were encountering where, you know, they do security audits, and initially people didn't trust, you know, people like, oh, USA or China would be the top security audits that can go out. But now Hacken has become one of the top security security consultants. They've even done some super crazy work for other big name companies out there because, crypto wasn't acknowledging them at the time. So they went straight into these big name companies, big list of companies. And I was like, wow, they're doing some impressive work. And finally they're getting some love in crypto. So I don't know. I don't want to show this endlessly because I obviously I'm very attached to these guys, but I'm happy. I'm happy I've held through on all of that. And they're seeing some love. And also right now, not to show this too hard, but they're launching a cybersecurity oracle, and this oracle is coming in. So it's on-chain data about cybersecurity protocol. This is something it's totally next level, right? So this coin is called HAPI. This project is called HAPI. And what projects can do is if they integrate HAPI, they can get on-chain data on hacks that are going on. And this is another way to prevent these big hacks that take place, right? We definitely see, thefts are happening every day in decentralized finance. And recently, the one that was very huge was a $31 million hack on Alpha Homora, which took assets from the Iron Bank as well, from Cream. We discussed that on Monday. That's kind of what rocked DeFi a little bit because $37 million is not a small amount. It's not a lethal amount, but it's not a small amount of money either. But what an on-chain security oracle can do is it can identify funds, right? If these funds are identified as theft, then they can freeze and stop these thieves from moving. And I definitely see this as kind of the antivirus to what's happening in the blockchain space, right? Because there's so many of these hackers that are going on, you need a service to stop hackers from hacking shit. It's logical, but anyways, that's my show. Right now it's ongoing, so their sale is a token sale. They've already reached their cap, which means that not everyone's gonna get their coins, but if you hold the VIP 180 of Hacken or HAI, then you can contribute your tokens to this address, and then you'll get in proportion in the ratio that you contributed versus the total pool, right? So right now, they finished their raise, and I think in 15 minutes, so it's pretty crazy. Yep. So that's okay. So what else? What other questions are there? I think I'm towards the end of my chat today. People ask about Finxflo, so it's an upcoming video. So what Finxflo also is doing is that they're the hybrid liquidity aggregator. So this is a project I went into recently as well. They're moving up quite a bit recently. It's kind of crazy how the market is responding. But the theory of what's happening right now is that obviously, with the invention of with DeFi becoming popular, everyone in crypto is realizing that they don't want to leave their funds just sitting there, right? Because the popular thing to do all the way back in 2012 is you get a ledger and you just store your Bitcoin in there forever, right? Don't even touch it. That works, but at the same time, it's can you take a portion of that out and try to put it into these protocols and earn yield, right? Why not earn 5%, 10%, 800% on your cryptocurrency, right? It seems logical, right? Why not? So capital efficiency is becoming a big play, and liquidity aggregation is becoming such a big part of this too. So this is a very forward thinking where essentially it's allowing people from different chains to combine the liquidity together and being able to deploy liquidity, right? I think this is where I'm spending a lot of the time. The two things I'm spending my time on: liquidity aggregation. Actually, three things. I lied. Three things: liquidity aggregation, NFT space, and then also the layer scaling solutions. Right now, scaling solutions are heavily needed at this current point. So I think that's to say the very least. Murray's is Eng. Eng has a lot going on as well. So it's crazy. Lee Herfel says, new farmer, what should I start off with? Okay, so this is a good question. I've been farming a lot, and it takes a lot of experience. So honestly, if you're starting out, I would definitely say, not financial advice, but test out something like PancakeSwap. The reason being is because you can try and do click the actions and click the buttons with $15 or $20 worth of cryptocurrency, and the fee is in the cents, right? So the actions and the motions and the contracts and the validations and stuff, this is all very similar to Ethereum, but you're not paying heavy Ethereum fees for it. So anything on Binance Smart Chain is a great intro. and Pancake being, kind of the pillar, right? The grand pillar of BSC. That's where, you can even deposit, say, let me see. You can deposit into a liquidity pool. You have to learn that, like what's a liquidity pool, what's impermanent loss. If you're just starting out to this, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to go easy. If you get what I mean, and it's a lot easier. Obviously, you need to be able to connect to Binance Smart Chain. I'll do a tutorial for that soon. I've been promising that for a long time. It's just been super busy. But everyone that has asked me, like off my personal friends, if they wanted to start farming, I've always said, go on Binance Smart Chain, take like $10, $20 worth of BNB, and just take like 0.1 BNB or 0.2 BNB, and bring that on, test out everything, like the whole procedure, and trying to get a sense of what's going on. I think that makes a lot of sense here. Brennan says, I think altcoin season has ended. Really? Really, dude? Really, buddy? Like, I don't know which planet you're living on, but yeah, like a minor setback like this, and you think altcoin season is over. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm gonna refrain from giving a cocky comment because I don't want to be a douchebag. But yeah, Cosmos extensions is AllianceBlock. That's actually good question. I actually did a call with AllianceBlock recently. Man, it's one of the things like I missed out on this. Like this is a situation where someone shoved AllianceBlock in my face and said, I told you so, because they were hyping up AllianceBlock at 7 cents and now it's all the way up at 66 cents, right? So go figure. But that being said, of course, I think in terms of what they're doing, it's pretty insane. Like I talked to the guys, they're super, super smart. So it's it's a situation where I'm like, okay, look, I'm trying to figure out what's the best time to enter. And then, yeah, just like, I don't really want to miss out. So yeah, I definitely got, some stuff shoved in my face for that. I got some I told you so moments, but you miss some, you got some, you miss some. And yeah, this is definitely a 10x I missed out on. But, so it's life. Shobo Baggins, Matic, Polygon, what's your take? I actually want to talk. So I'm actually gonna talk with Sandeep very soon, actually. So, like, it's one of those projects that I know some people in the channel loved a lot. Like, it was one of those projects that were extensively showed to a point where I had to put a stop to the number of people who were shilling Matic on the Telegram group. It was kind of funny. But at the same time, I think my judgment was based on the number of people shilling it, not on the merits of the project, right? So when people shill it extensively, I feel like I'm gonna pull back a little bit. I feel like that's a little bit too aggressive. But it's a situation right now where I'm like, okay, look, scaling is absolutely necessary right now. I definitely want to find out what's happening and get an insight on it. So I'm actually gonna try to schedule a call with the team very soon to figure out what's happening and try to figure out like where they stand in the kind of scaling aspect. So yeah, I'm warming up a lot to Matic right now. Yeah, like initially I was put off, but it's like, this is the thing with crypto, right? Like crypto conviction is important, but also putting your head towards the ground is important. Like, you have to listen to people, and it's very easy in crypto to go into a hole, right? And I can see like there was a risk, right? 2-3 years ago, there was a risk that I almost became a Bitcoin maximalist, right? This is a real story where a lot of people around me were Bitcoin maximalists. They only felt that Bitcoin is the one true coin and they're going to shut out to everything. And there's good reason, right? Because at that time, and it's still true to this day, there's a lot of scams going on in crypto, right? The number of scams going on in the space is just insane. And it just makes you want to throw up sometimes. And I totally understand the people who just pull themselves back and say, okay, look, Bitcoin, I'm not going to be exposed to this number of scams. they know what they're doing. But at the same time, the maximalist mentality is completely not for me, and I really learned that the hard way. Like, I looked at BNB, like Binance Coin and Binance Exchange, and I knew CZ was smart, right? He did an interview on my channel, and I knew this guy was smart. And I got exposure to BNB, and it was going crazy. This is at $1, by the way. So it's $1 for my BNB, right? And then I had a talk with Tone Vase, who is a big maximalist, and then he was like just bashing BNB like nobody's business, like it's a total scam, it's a shit show, like sees like he said all these nasty things, right? He didn't understand how fast CZ and his team were moving. And at that time, I was partially influenced by that. I felt, this Tone guy, he came from Wall Street, he probably I say this like, he's been here a bit longer than me, right? Like, I'll take some of his arguments, and then I reduced my BNB exposure. I didn't sell everything, which is great. I reduced my BNB exposure, and then he went on a tirade calling BNB a total scam and everything, right? Luckily, obviously, I grew a set of balls, and I knew what strategy I wanted to take. And look, BNB right now is $129, right? It's a situation where like that was the turning point for me, where like I experimentally understood that if I fully followed whatever that he was really ranting about, I would have completely lost out on a lot of opportunity. Like 100%, right? Like, even if I just de-risked 1% right now, even if I sold 1% of what I had, I would have recovered my capital plus more, right? Like that's the insanity of 100x, right? You just sell 1%, you get your initial capital back, and now you're riding it for free, right? Like, that's insane, right? That's insane. So anyways, that was like experimentally, I definitely figured out, okay, look, maximalism is not the way. I love their conviction. I love how they're really pushing Bitcoin forward. Like, I really respect that. There's a lot of chats also on Clubhouse, etc. But yeah, like if I sold all my BNB, I think like which one would I be sadder, if I sold all my BNB or if I bought BNB? And I think the answer is pretty clear. So anyways, that's my rant on maximalism. Maximalism never good. And this really goes to everything else. Like this year, I've been a lot more open, and that served me a lot, like super well. There are so many 10x's, like, like Trust Swap too, right? Trust Swap is one of those other coins where people were doubting it. I knew Jeff was very strong. I knew that he was determined to push this project forward. And it was a point where, like I said, I'll go help you, right? And, I'll be open, right? Like this is a situation where people were flooding Trust Swap like crazy. And look at it now, right? It's $1.50, right? I know I don't want to rant too much. I mean, this is like I hate it when people shove stuff in my face. So I'll stop. I'll spare you the same. But like this year, I was just finding strength in, whatever, like there's so much innovations here. Obviously, there's so many scams, but there's so much innovation here that can be done. And in terms of what people are building and what people have built, it's pretty crazy. So anyways, that's pretty much my rant. Showbo Baggins says, I'm not a fan of Tone. Like I've grown to not hate people too, right? I don't think I don't think it's necessary to hate on people, but it's necessary to identify like what works for them and what works for me, right? And for me, like altcoins do, like being on top of what's happening in this innovation space works a lot, right? I think that's pretty much abundantly clear by now. Like again, I don't want to shove that to people's faces, but it's abundantly clear. And the maximalists who think everything's a shitcoin, they're the same thing as Peter Schiff, right? Who believe, they're wrong again and again and again. How many times can you be wrong before people are like, the only reason why a lot of people, I feel like they're like supporting Peter Schiff is because they also missed out on Bitcoin. Like they're so far in the wrong that the only way they can live with that is if they continue being wrong, right? Like they're so, like their heads are shoved so far up their ass, right, that they cannot handle the truth, right? And this is why Peter Schiff still has followers. It's because like these people listened to Peter and said, yo, don't buy Bitcoin. And then now they have like severe PTSD, right? Like they'll be like calculating, in the deep dark depths of their mind, like if I bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin at $10, right? That's 100 Bitcoin. What would that be worth now? Like that number would blow their mind, right? Like what's 100 times $50,000? Like they cannot handle that math, right? They literally cannot compute that. And I started to realize that. I think like this year I've been looking a lot about emotions and how people work and how people behave and why people behave the certain ways they do. But just think about that. If someone persuaded you not to buy Bitcoin, holy crap. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. So, yep. Like fun times. But they've been a maxi. I mean, like there was a maxi talk during the blockchain cruise as well. I still remember that one where like him and Jimmy were just calling everything a shit scam, and I was like, wow, like that was the one point I would decided, you know what, like there's no point arguing. Like that's a great thing about crypto too, right? You never need to win an argument. Like you see a lot of debates in crypto and a lot of interviews and a lot of fights and stuff. There's no need to actually win a debate, right? You win the debate by winning in real life, right? And like it's abundantly clear that maximalism doesn't work. Like, well, it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't work. You're still you still made a lot of money, but you could have made a lot more money. But all right, cool. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Dead storage says you look beat. Probably. I don't really get much sleep nowadays. Been doing a lot recently. Yeah. So yesterday was a lot of focus on just learning about HAPI. And also helping a little bit with Diem about like phrasing his messages. Like, yeah, like there was like, I don't understand this post. Like, Diem, come on. But anyways, so yeah, so yesterday that was my big play. Recently also Chain Guardians, being really close to these guys. Been talking to them a lot. NFT gameplay, and they have an ecosystem where you can farm NFTs. It's kind of crazy, and been trying to link them up with artists and stuff. So I'm definitely doing a lot in the back. Like I'm trying to help projects, help them grow, help the space move on. Yeah, that's why I'm super busy. That's why I look beat, but that's also life. So everyone's asking about Reef guys. There is a video on Reef. I'll get them back to talk about it. Reef is super, like it's something that I've held on. Like I'm definitely gonna be very biased on Reef because I made huge gains on Reef, but at the same time I'm holding on with freaking diamond hands because I know that this guy's tech is like next level. So anyways, we got Witex Catering says, can you give your opinion on Elrond? Elrond is hilarious, right? In a good way. So Elrond was one of those coins that really took me to I think it's right now it's at 50x level. So it's like I'm definitely like, yet again, it's situations like this. Like I guess I'm nice. Like I could have gone out full out show, but I would say, look, I made huge gains on this. I'm holding this. The reason why is because Elrond does fully state sharded architecture, right? Their architecture is just amazing, right? The last time I talked with Benjamin, like he knew what he was doing. Their CTO knows what they're doing, and their team is moving super aggressive and fast. And it showed, right? It showed as one of those situations where like they just exploded, right? Like if you look at the 1 year track record for it, like man, like wouldn't you want Elrond at like 12? And this is from before. If you have the old, not the e-gold, but the old one, like it's been pretty crazy, right? Yeah. So in terms of the tech, so here's the rundown, right? So realistically, here's the rundown. So in terms of the tech, their architecture is amazing in terms of their sharding approach, right? Which is pretty much what their secret sauce. But on top of that, obviously, so they're scaling the number of transactions and the way they can scale. Obviously, now the next part is adoption, and it's really great that Elrond has so much popularity right now, right? Because now people want to develop on Elrond. Elrond uses Rust, so it's not exactly copy-paste that you can move a project from Ethereum to Elrond, but at the same time, they're building out an aggressive developer ecosystem. And this is what we're going to see this year, right? We're going to see all these chains, like, because Ethereum, it has the most number, it has the biggest network effect. And I watched a really funny video where Charles Hoskinson from Cardano was dissing Ethereum. He's like, DeFi is easy. Network effect is easy. No, dumbass, it's not. Network effect, if you look at Facebook, if you look at WhatsApp, network effect matters, right? And why did Facebook acquire WhatsApp for how many $billion? Let me just see. Facebook buys WhatsApp. This acquisition was the one in 2014, right? It was $16 billion acquisition of WhatsApp. WhatsApp itself is not it's an app built by 7 people, right? But, they were there right at the right place at the right time, and they had the right network effect. So never, ever underestimate the power of network effect. Facebook literally paid $16 billion for it. I mean, could they have come up with a new team to build a WhatsApp alternative? Of course they could. They could build something better, like a lot better than WhatsApp, but WhatsApp had the users, so Facebook was willing to pay $16 billion for those users. I think at that time, because I studied this acquisition in detail, right? I think at that time it was like $60 per user for WhatsApp. Like, it's insane, right? The amount of money Facebook paid was just crazy. But looking back at it now, it's fucking genius, right? So network effect really matters. And Ethereum has the network effect working for it, both in terms of developers, like the number of people developing on Ethereum, plus the number of people speculating on Ethereum, which fuels the entire network, right? Obviously, network effect matters in this case, and that's why Ethereum has been the number one, hub spot for decentralized finance, right? That cannot be underestimated. But at the same time, all these other competitor chains, they need to find a way to build that ecosystem, and the amount of effort being put on here is extremely important. And yeah, it was kind of funny that I saw that video, but I don't know. I'll send it to you guys later. It was hilarious. All right. So yeah, I hope that answers you about Elrond. Yeah. So Elrond just took off like crazy. I think I've been through the tough times for Elrond, like when they first announced eGold, and there was like a Titanic image there, and people were freaking out, like, oh, Elrond's tanking, and like it's like the Titanic. I think that's like, in terms of old prices, that would be like at $30 or something. I don't know. But anyways, it's at 120 now. It's just insane. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for today. We'll do a little bit more in the future about everything that's going on. And there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I'm closer towards building a graph of everything that's happening. I think I've been pretty impressed by like the architecture graphs of this whole ecosystem that's being played out. I'll do that more soon. I definitely appreciate all you guys for smashing up the likes today. I know I didn't push you guys very hard for that, but I'd like to thank you guys for A, smashing up those likes, and B, for subscribing to this channel. Really want to say, guys, thank you so much for that. So we have like 217 likes. Take me to 300, guys. Take me to 300. If 1/3 of you guys smash up the likes, it would really help, and I would definitely appreciate it there. So we got Sash X says box mining is god tier. Thank you for that. Thank you. No, I'm gonna turn myself back. I think for me, it's like very, very important not to let my ego take over here. I think right now, like, the whole core about crypto right now is to strategize and not let the ego take over, because I've seen so many people fall down because of that. Yeah, it's relatively unsmart. Jimmy Yip, thank you so much for your $5 Singaporean dollar donation as well. Hope to be able to meet up with everyone in Singapore soon when the world is traveling. I have so many friends from Singapore that I want to meet up with. It's crazy. It is crazy. So yeah. Mikey Mike says, is GooseDeFi or a scam, or is it trustworthy? So in terms of the mechanisms, right now it's unclear if they can fully establish a good mechanism to drive growth in the future. So I think they're trying very hard. Like, the members of GooseDeFi are in the box mining Telegram chat, right? So they're trying very hard to push the project forward. So definitely not trying to scam, but at the same time, do remember there is a 4% deposit fee on GooseDeFi. So I think that's, if people are to say, oh, look, it's a scam, that's probably one thing they'll point at. But what GooseDeFi has done is they have already removed they have a time lock on pulling rug. So they have like an anti-rug pull mechanism there. Now the biggest thing for Goose is to prove that it can deliver value. I think this is where Goose needs to move. Like right now, we know the yield is good. Like for sure, I'm happy to talk about the yield and everything because the yield is great. That was been something that I've been farming for a while. But at the same time, now they need to prove that they're good. Like prove that they're like amazing. So I guess I'll leave it at there. Everyone's like, we got next socials coming in. Sorry about that. Like I'm being, yep. And then I think that's it. I think I'm taking a look at everything. There's also gonna be quite a lot of stuff in the background. I've been working on a lot of stuff in the background as well recently. You guys probably seen Labs. I did an interview with Mahesh, box mining, obviously. So this is a good interview, actually. If you guys are wondering what's happening in the background, what I'm spending a lot of time on, Labs, tokenized real estate. This is the next big kind of leap. If this can be done, it's gonna be insane. So yeah, definitely check out this interview with Mahesh if you guys haven't done so already. And there's also another interview with Infinite Fleet guys. This is kind of interesting too. Kind of interesting story behind this. They're doing Infinite Fleet is a space game. They're not doing their own token. They're doing an STO, so security token offering. This goes way back, right? Samson was one of my original mentors for crypto. I knew him before crypto. So this is when Samson and I were in the video game industry, and he made one of the best games that I love. It's Company of Heroes. He was very, very involved in the making of Company of Heroes. That game is fantastic for strategy. So he's super OG in that front, and he's OG Bitcoin, and he's also Bitcoin Maximus as well. So this is where a lot of my Maximus influence comes from. That being said, of course, he's doing an STO raise, like security token offering. So he's not issuing out a coin, but rather he's issuing a security for Infinite Fleet. So if you guys are interested in space games, check out that interview for Infinite Fleet. We discuss a lot about what's happening in the gaming space and how we can get gamers to really fully adopt crypto. This has been something that I've been trying to push for a long time, mainstream adoption, but it's not going to be easy. So definitely check out that interview. There's a lot of deeper discussions in there of what works, what doesn't work, and that was super, super fun to do. So anyways, those are the two things that are recent on the box mining front. There's definitely stuff coming on with Finxflo and a lot more other discussions coming on. I think this time should not be squandered in this market. So anyways, with that, guys, I'm going to leave you guys there. Lots to discuss, lots to look out for. So I hope you can join further events in the future. I'll also try to be on Clubhouse a little bit more. I know I've been shilling Clubhouse super hard, and I got really burnt out on Clubhouse. Like I cannot go into any more rooms. Like I felt like last week I was in Clubhouse like for 16 hours a day, and then I realized, okay, look, that's too much. I needed to make sure that I take a break from that, and also my understanding, the amount of information I've obtained from that was, it was phenomenal. So I hope to do a few more chats with you guys on Clubhouse if you guys are into that sort of stuff. We have more stuff coming on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed. And also the podcast recently had a new episode on there as well. So plenty of stuff going on. It's gonna be exciting. So yeah, we have e-money going on the podcast as well, and we recently talked about pools as well. So if you guys are interested, I mean, it's a great way to listen to stuff on the go. So anyways, I'll leave you guys on that. George Goosen says, what is your name on Clubhouse? I am also, guess what, box mining. So yeah, Cryptogram says, I fell asleep in a room earlier, burnt out for sure. I'm super burnt out on Clubhouse. It's just like everyone's discussing. I feel like if everyone discusses the same things again and again, like then it's repeat, right? I'm like I feel like I have this is not a big omission. I feel like I have ADHD. It's like I don't know, there's a spectrum for that, right? I get bored very, very easily. Like I'm one of those people who I really get bored super easily, and if someone bores me, I will tell them that's why I'm a douchebag, and I know I'm a douchebag, right? Like sometimes during chats with projects, I'll be like, yo, this is literally boring me half asleep, right? Like, tell me what's important, tell me why you're doing this. Like, if you're not passionate, I'm not gonna bother with you, right? Like, I just tell people flat out that. Some people are super technical and they love their stuff, but at the same time, they really need to summarize stuff. Like, I hate people when They hide stuff in big words, and that happens a lot in Clubhouse too. But yeah, anyways, I feel like if you guys are in Clubhouse, like just go into a few things, take what you need, and just increase your overall intelligence, right? And anyways, and yeah, hopefully I don't have HDHD, but I probably do. Who knows? So why you boring? I'm probably boring. I probably can't watch myself either. I'm like, what's this guy? Like, I watch my old videos. Like, oh man, God, this micro guy sucks. I just want to punch him in the face. So, yeah. J Rocket says, you freaking douche. Oh well, okay guys, that's it. That's enough for this session, guys. Thank you guys so much. I was kind of like dragging time out so you guys would click the likes. We got 300 likes already, so I farmed those already. Thank you guys. It's a YouTube thing. I feel like I always need to have like a certain number of likes and stuff. It really does help. So help my broken ego here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and we shall find you guys in the near future. The next stream that's upcoming is on Friday, so I'll see you guys on Friday there. It's also going to be Thursday for you guys in the States. It'll be Thursday evening, so make sure you guys click the video for that. And let me see box mining and make sure that is their videos. Let me just link that in and just show you guys the link so the timing will be correct. Share this thing, share this. Friday. So yeah, Friday Bitcoin and crypto live stream. So make sure you guys smash the likes. You can also set a reminder on YouTube, and it does help you remind when the stream's up. I'll try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. And with that, guys, if you want to see me in the middle of this week, just come on Telegram or Discord and or Clubhouse, and I'll be there. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. This episode has gone on long enough. Thank you. And we got happy year of the ox from Flat Smack. Definitely year. It's not year of the ox. It's the year of the 0x. Make sure you got that right. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys. I'd like to take the time now to tell you a little bit about everything that's happening in the box mining ecosystem. First and foremost, if you guys like listening to all that's happening in crypto on the go, then I would highly recommend you checking out the Box Mining Bitcoin Out of the Box podcast. And the reason why it's called Bitcoin Out of the Box is because we have long interview segments very much exploring the detail of the newest and latest of what's going on in this whole cryptocurrency space. Whole idea of it is to bridge that gap between knowledge privileged institutional investors and the rest of us here in this space. Now, with the podcast, it's on everything. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Spotify. Just search it anywhere, Bitcoin Out of the Box. So just add that onto a playlist and then just follow the new episodes when it's released. Next up, we also have the Box Mining newsletter. So this happens roughly bi-weekly. We give you an update of the latest that's going on in a very summarized, condensed format. So this is perfect for anyone that wants an overview of the market. Say, for example, what's happening with OKX, the biggest event, or maybe the little things like what's happening with different coins and overall the trend. So what I use the newsletter for personally myself is to understand what kind of phase we're in crypto, to kind of get in tune. So if you don't read crypto every day, the newsletter is perfect for you. Last but not least, in the link down below, if you're a Telegram user, we have the Box Mining announcements channel. So this is to announce to you basically what's the latest videos coming up, but also we have a daily update, a community-driven daily update to provide you an idea of the latest updates on the day. And a lot of people have been using that to get informed of the crazy amounts of trends that we see. And I have to give a big thank you for Claudio, our community member, for doing this. It's just been phenomenal. Definitely want to give you a shout out there, Claudio, as well for that. And taking us to the end of the live stream, so make sure, number one, you click like and subscribe on this video because it really does help this channel. And then, of course, check out the podcast. It's one of the best ways to know a little bit more, to extend that knowledge, especially in your spare time. And then, of course, check out the newsletter. If you're, if you want those updates and summaries and trends, newsletter is the place for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a good one. See you in the next video.